this process is an impact of a company of 80 millions of business. So generally mistakes cost 2% of your business. So 2% of 80 million is a lot of money. So the impact is very strong.
When we're talking about AI, how is that changing the system? Hello and welcome to another episode of the E-commerce Coffee Break podcast. Would you agree that most online stores look the same? A few photos, a short description, maybe a video and a buy button? But shoppers today expect more. They want to interact with products, change them, personalize them, see them in 3D and understand how they will look in their own world before they buy. For brands, this used to mean big budgets, a lot of tech and long development cycles. But online shopping is shifting from flat product pages to experiences that feel interactive, personal and almost physical. So the question is simple. What actually drives sales? This is what we will unpack in today's episode. And to help me with that, I'm joined by Angelo Coletta. He is the founder and CEO of Zakeke.com. Since 2017, Angelo has helped thousands of brands bring products to life through customization, 3D, AI, and more. His mission is to make advanced visual e-commerce accessible for every brand. Angelo, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Angelo, let's get into it. Many online stores look and feel the same. Why do so many stores still struggle to stand out today?
E-commerce has a different stage of developing, as now is the time that, the brand that they find their place inside the e-commerce universe have to fight to have an identity. And so my opinion is that one of the most important layer that you need on top of your e-commerce is to find a way to interact with your customers. It could happen in a different way. It could be to 2D or 3D customization. In this case, your company has be able to offer this kind of, opportunity in their back office. If you want to offer customization, you are be able to be the job in your back office operation. On the other side, it could be a try-on experience, or maybe it could be, I want to see my product in different contests, or maybe I want to see a video with my product. Anyway, I want to see more about my products, and maybe I would like to guide what I want to see. So this different layer that is as customization layer, visualization layer, try-ons layer, AI layer, because most of this part are done by AI systems, is what I think will change dramatically the experience of customers, not only in the e-commerce space, but in any channel of a company, because the same experience can be provided inside a B2B channel, inside the physical stores, inside many different website or partner that are working with your brand. So the idea is, let's offer to your customers a new layer of experience. And what we have seen from our experience when more than 1,000 brands that are using our platform is that the loyalty improve, the average of basket improve, the time they spend on the e-commerce side improve. And this is only the front end. Then there is a lot of advantage in the back end too, because our platform help companies to cut operational cost. And so on the front end side, they provide a better experience. On the back end, they can cut a lot of cost because we have a group of agents that they help them to make a lot of jobs, and they provide them, the final output they need for their operation. And so in general, they can cut the cost of the process between 30 and 70%. It depends on what kind of industry they are involved in.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, most merchants know that a poor product experience will hurt their sales, but still they're having a very plain site. And you already gave a couple of examples on what you actually can do to improve the customer experience. I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. Can you give a bit of an overview what you do and what kinds of different tools you use to just make the user experience more lively?
Yeah, sure. We call us a visual commerce layer. No? So any kind of technology that you can use in front end to improve the interaction with the product is provided by our platform. What is interesting that we are a plug and play for any commerce platform. We have API for everything. So we are really a plug and play solution. So many times you think that you need a lot of time and a lot of effort to provide all these things together, but in the reality, you can do in 1 week, in 1 day, sometimes in 1 hour if your company is not so complicated. So you don't need to, set up many rules inside our platform. But just to give you example of different, usage of the platform because it depends from the industry. For example, if you are in the uniform, for example, Word, generally you have a group of people. I mean, soccer uniform, for example. You have a lot of small club that they buy the t-shirt for the young guy in the club, so they have to choose a basic T-shirt with some colors. Then they add the patch and the logo of their sponsors. Then they have to put the name and numbers on all these T-shirt for maybe 100 guys. Yeah. So and generally, actually, the process is someone start talking with the club choose on a catalog a T-shirt, then send to the company the logos. The company has a team inside that prepare something and show you generally in a PDF an example of where the logo are. Then you say, okay, no, the logo is too big, too small. Put this on the left, on the right. There is a lot of job like this. Then provide you maybe an Excel if you are an happy guy, or maybe a list of name and numbers of 200 people, and you have to rewrite somewhere in your back office. And this is the typical process. We transform this process in a super simple things. You have a link that you send to the club. They can make everything inside the product page. They can put the logo, they move it, do whatever. After that, they can see not only in a 2D version, but in 3D, they can see a preview in 3D. Maybe they can create a small video to show to all the guys, hey, do you like this configuration, for example? And everything just with one click. After that, they can upload an Excel file and directly 200, 2000, or 2 millions of t-shirts are done with the right name and numbers. And what is the most important things, the company receive directly all the files, the print ready files for his equipment, so they don't need to do anything else. And there's another important things in this case, because he is the customer that is doing everything. If it makes any mistakes, it's his mistake. It's not mistakes of, you give me one name and write another one. Okay. You write the name, you put the name inside. You have to decide where the logo have to be placed. Just an example, but imagine this process for generally a medium company as between 400 and 600 different clubs. And imagine how this process is time consuming for this company. Is one of the most important part of the cost of operation. We can cut this off 80%, and we can streamline the process. You can reduce to zero the mistake inside the process. So there is an enormous advantage for the company using a platform like us. Imagine a total different companies, like a sofa company. You can create your composable sofa. You can provide this interface on your app, on your website, on your B2B channel, inside your physical stores for the sales guys that you have inside. And for example, you can import all the rules that you have generally in your CPQ inside. You can import directly these rules inside Zakeke. So without any effort, you can find inside Zakeke all the rules that you have spent a lot of times to create inside your CPQ. You can manage of the composable things, and after that, you can provide them a 3D vision. They can provide them, how to show your sofa inside your room. I can provide you the idea of your sofa inside the 3D architect solution, just to have an idea if it works or not in terms of colors. And in this case too, you are cutting a lot of costs, you are providing a better experience. And at the end of the game, when everything is ready, you have an order files ready to be pushed in your ERP system, ready for production. Okay.
Mhm.
Because everything is connected with the API.
I find very interesting that this is a very complex process that you can really streamline there. And what I liked is that you said it's not only online, you can use this system also in your store. So it's basically on every channel that you have with your customer, every touch point, you can use this. Now, I want to find out a little bit about when we're talking about AI, because AI is everywhere right now. How does that play in there? How is that changing the system?
AI is changing a lot of things for sure. For example, now is helping brands to offer a really better experience of the contextual ads of this product. Ads in terms of, for example, you have a photo of your catalog. With AI now, you can create immediately another six, seven still life photos, but maybe you can create 100 contextual photo with your sofa in a living room of a super design house in Manhattan, or maybe in a old style house in the countryside in Tuscany. And so you can give immediately to your customer the idea how it works or not. For example, your sofa inside of the idea that you have in your mind. And you can provide a try-on experience now without having a 3D model, for example, for whatever it was flat just till 1 hour and 1 year ago, like, t-shirt, cover. Now you can try whatever you want and see on your face, on a model or whatever. And so this is another interesting experience that the AI provides. But in my vision, there is a problem that you have to manage inside enterprise company in the meanwhile. AI as a basic process is like a probability system. So AI sometimes have hallucination, sometimes AI lose consistency of the brands, sometimes the result of the same problems is not always the same. So if you want to provide, and sometimes there are some, if you use AI only with prompt, you can open some door that can be dangerous on the cybersecurity side. So what we have done, we have created a lot of agent inside the application based on well-tested workflow. And in this workflow, there's not only the process to have a result, but there is a lot of process to control the results. And the control is not done only from AI. Just to give you an example, if I create a video of a shoes of Adidas, no, I want to be sure that any frame, the logo Adidas have to be the right one, exactly the right one, because sometimes I can make some creativity. Okay. And we use, for example, in this process, an algorithm of computer vision to check frame by frame if the logo is okay. If not, the process will start again. And there is a lot of things like that. You can put inside the guidelines of your brand in a very strong way at the level of brand, at the level of product, to help us to don't have hallucination of, if you have hallucination, we restart the process. Because, for example, Adidas, just to tell you why brand, maybe their policy, I don't want to be never be linked to war, for example. And maybe you give a general context, for example, oh, tell me, oh, these shoes inside Kiev. And maybe AI, because Kiev now is in a different situation, he can put maybe a weapon somewhere. No, and you have to be sure that it never be happen, because it's not the idea of your brand. So the idea is that we provide inside the platform uh, and a strong AI layer, a strong group of AI agent that works with compliance, with accuracy, with consistency, and with cybersecurity check. And I think is the only way to adopt AI in enterprise process, because you can imagine that your process is like a potential potentially a variable process.
A lot of brand managers have that in mind when they use AI, and I think it's really putting it on the spot. AI hallucinates, and you want to keep the control over your brand and what goes out in the world. Now, for a brand that has a smaller team, where should they start? With customization, with 3D, AI? What's the normal process?
Everyone comes inside the platform from his personal angle, because for example, if you want to start with customization, you need your production back office. Okay, I'm a shoe producer and I can produce customized shoes. If I can do this in my back office, now I have a problem. How can I provide to my customers the front end to do this job, and how I can receive in my production line the order ready files in this case. Okay. And so generally a company have different needs. Someone have a needs of customization and they start from this angle and then start exploring the possibility to offer other pieces of experience. Someone else, maybe they want to only visualize in a better way. Just for example, if you visit now the most part of many brands, as you told in the introduction, you see Bottega Veneta bag, two lines of description. You say, oh, I have to pay 5,000 euro for a bag without a description in the reality. For example, now we provide, for example, if you provide this photo inside Zakeke, we can create a contextual description of this photo following the brands, following the description, the customers inside all the social media, and to create a very nice abstract to be put inside the product page. Maybe they will have only two photos because the photo costs. We can provide 10. Maybe now the is a statistic photo. Now you can see the bag on your end, with the bag in a different context, etc. So in this case, they are all improving the experience of the front end. So anyone start from one point. What is interesting from my point of view, our platform, that we are all in one solution platform. So you can start from an angle using maybe 10% of the power of the platform, and then you can expand following your business development. So you can start maybe using only this online and say, hey, okay, but I have 100 stores. I want to implement in it more. Okay, now I create a new line that is customizable. Okay, I can use it. What is interesting that you don't need to create a complex stack, because another problem in this job that you need to work inside only one stack. Because for example, if you import a 3D model from one place to another, just the light visualization can change your perception of the product. So you can have maybe a bag that you see one way in your website, in a different way in your physical store, in a different way in your ads.
I want to hear a little bit of the industries, the perfect customer you have. Can you share some customer stories that you have worked with and which kind of impact, which kind of results they saw?
For example, favorite gift in the gifting and merchandising sector. Okay, they have thousands and thousands of different products customized by months. Okay, so the workflow is massive. So they import their database of product directly inside Zakeke via JSON files in a super simple way with all the configuration rules. That means to save maybe thousand and thousand hours of job. Then you can use our AI assistant just to tell to the software, okay, now you can configure all the product inside the platform following the rules, and you save other thousands and thousands of hours just with a prompt. And after that, they have different outputs. So, for example, they make engraving, they make a lot of different things. We provide them directly the output in the right files for any kind of equipment, and we make a control of the output files with a computer vision algorithm, because sometimes super small mismatching of 0.1 centimeter can make some print not exactly well as the customers want, and so we add them to cut costs. So what interesting that this process is an impact of a company of 80 millions of business. So generally, mistakes cost 2% of your business. So 2% of 80 million is a lot of money. So the impact is very strong. And then other important things, they can make the job in the pre-sales. For example, in this kind of industry, merchandising, gifting, etc., there is a big pre-sales team for the same motivation of uniform, but with more scale, because in this case, customers are thousands and thousands. Okay. And they can cut this cost between 50 and 80%. Or, for example, different companies where you need catalogs, or maybe there are some companies that are using us in the proofing process too. Maybe you have to prepare your showroom, you have your collection, new collection, but in the showroom you have only uh, 30 pieces of the collection that you can show, because everything is in hurry. You have design, you have finished to design things generally just 2 weeks before, so you are ready to show only a small pieces of that. In this case, for example, with our platform, you can show all the collection in a 3D way, and you can save a lot of cost on sampling too. So you have two different advantages. On one side, you can provide a more uh, huge idea of your collection. On the other side, you are saving a lot of cost of sampling. And the same things if you have a global retail network, you can save sampling, providing to your sales people a 3D catalog and not a piece of samples everywhere in the world. But from there's an incredible numbers of application. In some other brands, we use us, as I told you, in proofing. For example, they design the product, maybe sometimes by hand, but many times in a 2D application. Using this scratch, we provide immediately a 3D where they can change internally colors, things. So they can immediately go in one way or another. In general, they create the product physically for doing this job in many industries. So they reduce enormously the time between the idea, the perception of the idea, and which is the route they want to choose to move forward. And on the other side, the same cost of production of sample for proofing. So there is an enormous number of use case.
Yeah, I can see this. I mean, there's a lot of savings in there. I mean, they're massive, what you said. Walk me through, how long does it take for a new brand to onboard? What steps are involved? How can they get up and running?
It depends from the how big is the company, because the setup is super simple. Because generally, if you are a Shopify store, so you have a WooCommerce store or Cloud Commerce, so yeah, it's an only plugin. So in 1 second, you download the plugin, and your store is connected. After that, you have to choose which are the product that you want insert in Zakeke, just clicking on it, or maybe prompt that I want this category of product. And after that, depends what you want to do. If the configuration, for example, if you sell T-shirt, hats, typical merchandising, you can prompt directly, please make me a standard configuration of the print area of this product, and in 5 seconds, everything is ready. It's not important if you have 10 products or 1,000. Or maybe then you can, if you want, you can go one by one to make some check. But if you are in a general business, you don't need to check anything. And then you have only to say publish. So, for example, this process can take 1 hour, 2 hours, and you are ready to sell. There are some other companies, for example, that they need to import the JSON files. Many times they spend time to create the JSON inside. It's not because we need time inside the platform. Maybe they have some complex rules for each product, so that they need a bit of time to manage it to be sure that everything is fixed. But in general, the real time inside the platform can be from 15 minutes till 1 2 weeks, not
Hmm.
more. The
Okay.
time in the meanwhile, many times internal time for the companies that they need to assess, to make assessment of some rules or some information. They don't know exactly where they are, so they have to put in a basket all the information they have to transfer to Zakeke. And Zakeke is totally is we have an MCP server too. So if you have, for example, on your side MCP server, you can use Cloud as an interface for do whatever you want. So there is an incredible uh, simple way to do things, and we are improving this level because the idea is that we want to transform in the next 2 3 months all the functionality in something that you can access by prompt. So the idea is that the first interface for everything, for the most complex things that you can do inside a platform, can start from a prompt.
Okay, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, we will use the rest of the interface just only if you want to go deeper and deeper to see exactly something. But the idea is that we want to provide a learning curve as small as possible, and because our platform was done following the criteria of Mac Alliance, no, that is microservices, headless, AI first, etc., with a small group of company worldwide that follow these rules in a super strong way, allow us to create a strong MCP server on top because everything is provided by public API. So there's not any layer that is not accessible by API on specific microservices. So this is architecture is more flexible for this next step.
That's awesome. I mean, this is really next level, going away from a sort of structured, static onboarding to something that's completely prompt driven. I want to hear about from you about your pricing structure. Obviously, you want to make money as well. How do you charge for your services?
We have two different offer. One is for small companies, that is a typical subscription with small amount of money that start from 69 euro by month till to 100, maybe close to 300 euro plus a percentage of what they sell. This is a self-provisioning plan. You can have 70% of the functionality of the platform. And then there is an enterprise offer for medium and big companies. In this case, you have the full access to the platform. There is account based for you. There is a specific cloud just for this customer. So you have more guarantee on platform, any kind of certification, etc. And in this case, you pay a fixed amount by year. It depends from how many products, how many services inside the platform you need. It's like a one-to-one offer based on a scheme of fixed cost, because medium as a big company, they prefer to work with budget. And so they need to have a clear view of what they are going to spend in the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Angelo, before our coffee break comes to an end today, is there anything you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered yet?
Many times there's more bias inside the management team, or maybe sometimes the CEO, the director, about how complex could be changing the experience inside their e-commerce in their business. And so my suggestion is, let's discover that there are some platforms like us that can provide you a very big step to improve your business with the cost that is a super small part of the new revenue that you can provide from this big change. And another important thing, you can think this change now And if you want, you can start doing a new way in your business in 1 week, not in 2 years. So it's interesting that we are really a plug and play solution for changing the e-commerce life. Also, my suggestion is let's think about more about how you can change things inside your company without the bias that it could be too costly, or you need too much time of your team inside the company, maybe too much time and complexity in manage the process, because it's not true.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Try it out, get convinced that it's not as complicated as it was in the past, and that's actually changing not only your company but also your revenue. Where can people go and find out more about you guys?
Oh, for sure, they can visit our website, so zakeke.com, or maybe they can contact us to have a demo. We provide a demo to anyone needed. And I think that if you are a medium and big company, the best thing is to ask for a demo so you can understand immediately the how deep the platform is and how can solve maybe a complex problem inside your company. If you are a small guy, so let's sign in, let's try. If you need help, you can ask for a demo. In any case, maybe you can joke with the platform and start doing things and see how it works. By the way, my team is always there to answer to anyone, and it's a pleasure for us to interact with anyone that want to try our platform.
Perfect. I will put the links in the show notes as always. Then you're just one click away, and I hope a lot of people will reach out to you and your team and to try the platform by themselves. Thanks so much, Angelo, for your time today.
Thanks a lot, Klaus. Thanks for your audience.